I'm on chapter 9. So this is the same way. Now that I showed you, do this one. Do that one the same way, now that I showed it to you. Not the same as using a box. We're not using a box. Not using a box. Square and box, two different things. Not using a box. We're not factoring necessarily here, okay? We're going to do it a different way. All right, completing the square. I'm a step follower. I can't help it. I'm one of those people that read the directions, that kind of stuff. But I am. Some people are, some people aren't. It's here if you need it. Completing the square. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to create a perfect square trinomial, which is what these are. Perfect square trinomials. So you can take the square root of each side and solve it. You take this and you make it into this. Now I'm going to show you all this. This is just kind of a step by step if you need it. Then you replace the c that you moved with this. I'm going to show it to you. Then you've completed the square by making a perfect square trinomial, so you can use that to solve. I will show you. Trust me. Okay? Do it quick. We're going to take it step by step. Slow by slow. First thing we're going to do is this right here. We're going to take that and do that right there. We're going to do it here. Find the value of c that makes the expression a perfect square trinomial. Then write the expression as the square of a binomial. This is doing step 1 and 2 from above. So, the first thing we did here is it says to do what? Move c over. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of, well actually I'm just going to eliminate c because we're going to make a new c. So we'll just cross it off. We're going to make a new c. We're going to make a c that will make this a perfect square trinomial. So step 2 says, okay, this is annoying, I'm going to take it off. Step 2 says you take b, remember this is b, right? 8 is b. Remember that? Okay, so we take b and we cut it in half. And we're going to rewrite this like this. Plus, I'm going to add in my b divided by 2 squared. That's my new c. So the first time you see it, the more we do it, the easier it'll become. Okay, so I can rewrite 8 divided by 2 as what? 4. So let's just rewrite that as 4. I don't want to write it as 16. You can, but it's easier if you just leave it as 4. And so we did this part. Find the value of c that makes the expression a perfect square trinomial. Then write the expression as the square of a binomial. Now this is the next step right here. We just use what's inside here to write the square of our binomial. So we write it, we take that 4 and we just write it like that. Now stay with me. I know it's the first time I showed it to you, but it'll get better. This is the perfect square trinomial. This is the square of the binomial. Okay, so let's do this again. We need to put in a c that's going to make it a perfect square trinomial. So I'm going to keep the first part of the equation the same, and I'm going to add in a new c. I get that new c by cutting the b in half, so I'm going to write it like this, negative 12 divided by 2, and I got to square it. So then I can write this like this. And I'm going to keep it as negative 6 squared because that's the number that goes in my binomial, not 36. Okay, negative 6 is what goes in my binomial. So I did what I was supposed to do. This is a perfect square trinomial. If that was 36, it'd be a perfect square trinomial. And that's the square of the binomial. Let's do another one. You could have a fraction. Fractions are okay. No. So I'm going to put in a c here, a new c. Keep the first part the same. Then I'm going to add to it what?
3 over 2.
3 over 2. Got to cut 3 in half and square it. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm not going to do 1.5. I'm just going to leave it like that. So now I can just write my binomial. What would my binomial look like?
X
Plus 3 over 2 squared. You do the yes.
What would you like us to keep it as a fraction?
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
So if nothing goes into like 3, then you keep it as a fraction?
Yeah, just leave it as a fraction.
So no decimals.
No, let's not. Yeah. Okay, do this one same way on your own. Same way. Following equations by completing the square. Again, that's not using a box. No box here, okay? We're going to just do what we did here. Whatever value you added into the left side of the equation, you must also add to the right side. So we're taking this and we're going to add another step. Right now, there is no C here, is there? We're going to add in a C, just like we did up here. So I'm going to write it like this. I'm going to leave a space for C. Okay, leave a space for C. What's half of negative 16?
8.
Negative 8. So I'm going to add in a negative 8 squared, because that's completing the square. But if this equation was a scale, if I'm adding negative 8 squared to the left side, what do I have to do? Have to add it to the right side to keep it balanced. So you're going to do the same thing here. You got to keep it balanced on both sides. Now, this is going to help us solve this equation. So all we're doing is rewriting. We're not solving here. Okay. We can leave it like this. We're going to write x minus 8 squared equals, wait a minute, now we're going to think about what this is equal to. What's negative 8 squared equal to? Negative 8 times negative 8, which is what?
64.
So I do have to add those together to write it here. What would that be? 15 plus 64. That's what I do there. That's it. Rewrite the following equation by completing the square. Whatever value you added to the left, you add to the right. That's it. That's all we have to do for that. Okay?
I like the section where we just try to like add.
Okay. Let's do another one.
I agree, Michael.
What's the first thing we do? We leave a space to add in a new C. So we're going to add in half of 2. What's half of 2?
1.
And we're going to square it. But if I add it here, I have to do what? Some of you are thinking, well, 1 squared is just what?
1.
It is.
4.
But we're going to write this like this, and it's going to equal 3 plus what? What's 1 squared? 1.
What?
That's it. Okay? Now we're going to take it a little further than this because we haven't solved anything yet, but this is the process. Okay, turn it over.
Oh, crazy weather around me.
Let's do one with the fraction. The fraction's okay. We can do that. Yeah, let's do one with the fraction. You ready? Separate it so we can add in a new C. It's okay. We can do it. We're going to add in negative 5 over 2 squared. And I got to add that here also.
Is it?
Oh, just be patient. Just be patient. No, it's not. No solution. No. Okay. I'm going to rewrite this kind of down here like this. So that's the left side, right? That's the left side. Nothing new. Right? Now let's think about adding these fractions. I'm going to go up here. What is negative 5 over 2 times negative 5 over 2?
Just kidding.
25 over 4.
That equals 25 over 4, correct?
Correct.
Oh, wait a minute. If I rewrite this as 25 over 4, can I add these two fractions now?
Yeah, because
It's
the
the
four.
Because they have the same denominator.
Crazy.
So what does that equal? It equals
28 over
28 over 4, which is what?
7.
7.
I don't like this.
Very doable.
I feel like you've done this before.
Very doable. Don't freak out over fractions. Okay, we're not going to do this one. We're going to move on.
Thank the Lord.
You should have ended up with all perfect square trinomials on the left side, and we did. Okay, now, solve. Oh, we haven't solved anything yet, have we? We've just set up.
Miss Burgess.
So now we're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to show you how to solve. This is step 3, yes. You could say that's a 3. All right, solve the equation by completing the square. This process, all of this, is completing the square. That's the process. So let me show you. We know how to start this. What do? Make a space. Make a space.
I got a blank space.
Then we add in a new c. Negative 1 squared. We added in a new c, right? Okay, then I rewrite this as the square of a binomial.
Equals 2.
What's negative 1 times negative 1? Positive 1.
Add that.
And so 3 plus 1 is what?
4. It's 2. Oh, I mean 4.
Okay, here's the beauty. This is the beauty of completing the square. Wait a minute. Doesn't this look like your homework from last night?
No!
Look, I want to get rid of the square, so I'm going to square root both sides.
What?
By 2. We square root by 2.
And I get plus or minus 2.
Oh my.
Tell us
And then it's your homework from last night, and you can solve it.
Would you
it's
add
a
1?
lot of work for a simple answer.
So you do x minus 1 equals positive 2, x minus 1 equals negative 2. Because we have plus
Why
and
can't you just add 1?
Duh. It's just like this homework, just like this.
Sorry.
Probably didn't do it.
So add 1, x equals 3. Add 1, x equals negative 1. See that? I add 1, that equals 3. I add 1, that equals negative 1. 2 answers.
Let's do this one.
Isn't that nifty?
No. Neato gang.
That's on the homework.
Try this one, the same process. Try it on your own.
I don't even want to.
I didn't finish. What's next?
Oh, so then you do m plus 5 equals 4.12, and then m plus 5 equals negative 4.12.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Branching.
See, it's all. I still did it.
Okay, you add 5 or subtract 5. Subtract 5. I don't know. Let's see what that is. 4.12 minus 5. Negative 0.88. So this equals negative 0.88.
Can we not do this one time?
Shh. Okay, m equals negative 9.12. So we're almost done. We're going to do one more.
Why?
Can we do this one?
No, we're going to do this one down here.
Oh.
How is this different than this?
It's not more numbers. It's G's. It has a C.
Science.
It has a C, right? But we can move that C, which is what we have to do. Okay, now this is new.
Wait,
We're going
I
to...
can actually. If you add, look, there's a 24, there's a 3, and if you add the 2, it's 27.
Okay, I like what Joe said.
You did.
First of all, let's look at this.
Subtract. 27.
Before you do anything, what do you have to do?
Subtract 27.
Yeah, but we can even do something before that. Divide out a what?
3.
Fraction.
They can all be divided by 3.
3, that's what I said.
So they can all be divided by 3. So I'm going to just do that, and what I have left is this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so important. You cannot complete the square. Cannot complete the square unless A, hopefully you know what I mean by that, equals 1.
A1 stays awesome.
A is that number in front of here, right? That has to be 1 before you complete the square.
That is 1 though.
It is now. It wasn't here.
Would you subtract 9 now?
See what I'm saying?
Wait, so
It wasn't here, so you have to check that. You can't jump in and complete the square until you make that 1. If you can divide by everything and make it
So-
1,
if like it was just like that, you can't do the problem.
if it was like this, no. If you, yeah, you have to divide by. You can't complete the square. You can do other methods, but this is this method. Okay? So now we got to add in a new c, so we're going to move this c over here. We're going to subtract 9 because that doesn't work for me. And it looks like this. G squared minus 8g equals negative 9. Now I can make it a perfect square trinomial on this side.
It'd be 4.
Yeah, negative 4.
Where? Don't stop.
Don't
I got
stop.
it. I'm not gonna
Don't stop.
Shh, let's finish this. What's next? Write it as a what here?
That's good.
What do we do? From here,
Branch.
Write it as a-
a.
write it as a
I
binomial.
lost my.
Equals negative 9 plus what?
Negative 16.
Positive 16.
Are you kidding me? We both got it wrong. I got it right. I got the number right. I just needed to fix the negative.
Oh.
I said it equals 7. That's it.
Now what? Now what?
You should like do the splitty thing.
Not yet.
I square.
Square root.
Square, yeah, that.
Get rid of that squared. Yes.
I would
Totally.
say it.
Then it's x minus 4 equals 2.65 plus or minus.
So how can we put the plus or minus?
Anytime you insert the square root into the process, you have to consider both the positive and the
So if I
negative.
forget to do that on the test, and that's
You would miss an answer because there's 2 answers here. If you didn't do it, you're missing. Watch. See, now you branch off. If you didn't do it, you would only have this part. You wouldn't have the other part.
I'm taking it like so much.
So
Back up.
this answer, Becca, stay with me. X equals 6.65 and X, is it G? Somehow I became GX. I didn't mean
Yeah, I
to.
know, it really.
Sorry.
Yeah, man, like-
GG.
GG.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back and talk about something real quick. Remember what I told you? What kind of graphs do these equations give you? Parabola. And what we're solving for, oh wait. Hey, this is coming. This is coming still. What we're solving for here is where the parabola hits the x-axis on the graph. That's what we're solving for. So that's why there's 2 answers, because it will often hit twice.